Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the PMC 2022 Rider Orientation. My name is Jared Collins. I'm proud to be the president of the Pan Mass Challenge. And on behalf of our whole staff, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. We have a full slate of information for you, but we will leave time for questions and still finish in approximately 1 hour. So thank you again for sharing part of your evening with us. Speaking of questions, one housekeeping item, please submit them during this evening in the question and answer or Q&A function of your Zoom window. You should see it down in the lower margin of the Zoom window. And we'll get to as many of those as we can in the last portion of the call. And finally, so you don't feel like you need to take notes the entire hour, we'll send you a link to this recording of the meeting afterwards. And we'll send it to those who weren't able to be here this evening, but who registered. It's my pleasure now to pass the baton to kick off our event with to Billy Starr, the PMC's founder and executive director. Take it away, Billy.
Thank you, Jared, and welcome everybody. Thanks for spending some time with us tonight. We're fond of saying here that there's a lot riding on us, and now, in fact, there's a lot riding on you as well. If you've done your homework, you know that the PMC is the nation's largest fundraising event by a country mile. In fact, we're larger than the next 9 largest bike-a-thons combined. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but I think we do what we do very well. We provide a living metaphor for turning the crank of progress by what we can achieve together, riding bicycles, and turning that into progress and funds for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Money from the PMC will account for probably 55% of the Jimmy Fund's annual revenue. And that's a staggering amount, but we're not doing this alone. You probably saw this within this $64 million gift has enabled us in the way that registration is going this year to just recently announce a $66 million goal for this upcoming year. And we are confident that with your help, we will achieve that. Now, the PMC is a sophisticated weekend, and I promise you that when you come out of the Sunday or whatever your route and experience is, one of the first things that will occur to you will be, I can do this a lot smarter, better, more comprehensively next year. There's a real learning curve for the PMC, and hopefully tonight gets you a long way down the road. But the PMC is 16 different routes, 47 towns, 370 miles of infrastructure. And you and me, and along with an expected 350,000 people, will make and write checks to what we hope will be this $66 million goal. So enjoy and embrace the fundraising as well as the weekend. I hope you read everything we send to you. It is really a lot of detail that will play out quite skillfully over the course of the weekend. It's been a pretty common expression to me that people, when they see it unfold, often count, I wish my business would run like this. So I'll leave you with one last experience. I once got a letter from a first-year rider. It was a woman who had done both the Boston Marathon and the Pan Mass Challenge. And she said, I've done both of these events, and they're both wonderful events. But the critical difference is the following. In the Boston Marathon, people line the road and they go, you can do it. But in the PMC, people line the road and they say, thank you for riding. And that's all the difference in the world. You're going to be getting an experience like that. And together, it leads to something that none of us can do by ourselves. So thank you for joining the PMC cause. Enjoy the orientation. And now I will pass the baton to Susan Doucette, our project coordinator.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight and welcome to PMC 2022. My name is Susan Doucette and I'm the project manager for the PMC. Before working for the PMC, I was a PMC rider, so I personally know how exciting it is to ride in your first PMC. Your PMC weekend starts when you check in the night before or the morning of your ride. Depending on your route, you will check in Friday at Sturbridge or Wellesley, Saturday at Sturbridge, Wellesley, or Bourne, or Sunday at Bourne or Wellesley. When you arrive on site, you must show your ID and your proof of vaccination in order to check in to receive your rider kit, your credentials, and to be able to ride on PMC weekend. As a reminder, all 2022 PMC participants are required to be fully vaccinated and must show proof of vaccination. Ahead of PMC weekend, we will communicate how you can easily provide your proof of vaccination before you even arrive for the PMC. This summer, we are planning to use VOW Digital, a service that we have already used this year for the PMC winter cycle. Using VOW will streamline your check-in process and make your registration even easier. After you show your ID and proof of vaccination, you'll receive your credentials, which are your key to participating in the PMC. You cannot ride a PMC weekend route without these credentials. Your credentials include your wristband, your name tags, your bike tag, and luggage tags. These credentials include your name, your PMC ID, your number of years participated in the PMC, your team name if you're riding with a team, your emergency contact information, and your weekend logistics, including your route, your lodging, and your transportation information. In particular, it's very important to wear your wristband throughout PMC weekend. And at the same time you receive your rider credentials, you'll receive your official PMC 2022 jersey, which is shown here, your socks, your water bottle, and additional items, including some cool items from PMC sponsors. You selected your jersey size during online rider registration, but if you need to change your jersey size, you can do so at check-in during PMC weekend. After you receive your credentials and you're putting your tags on your bike, this is a good time to set up your tracking for PMC weekend. This year, the PMC is using a new tracking service that uses a mobile app called Track Central. Riders will not need a physical tracking chip attached to their bike, as has been the case for past PMC weekends for rider tracking. This new tracking service has been chosen to improve how riders are tracked on PMC weekend, and you will be able to share your tracking link with your friends and family on PMC weekend so they can track your ride. We will provide all riders with instructions on how to download this new app before PMC weekend, so stay tuned for that this summer. Up next, you'll hear from Glenn Hawley, the PMC's Director of Operations.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Susan. My name is Glenn Hawley. I'm the Director of Operations for the PMC. I've been working with the PMC since 2004, and prior to that, I rode for 9 years. So hopefully can offer some good information to you this evening. So just want to talk about a few things, basically what to pack and carry on PMC weekend, and then we'll also talk about a little bit about weekend support. This information will be is on our website. It'll also be in the handbook that we're going to mail out to you in July. So it's here, so no reason to write it down. So first and foremost, we're going to ask you to bring with you on PMC weekend a bicycle that is fitted to you and that has been professionally tuned up, and hopefully one that you've ridden quite a bit and have trained on for PMC weekend. We're also going to ask you to bring a repair kit with extra tubes, and so that you're able to hopefully change your own flat. Specifically this year, we're asking for this because bike parts and supplies, along with just about everything else, it seems, is in very short supply. So please make sure that your bike is working well, and that you have extra tubes. That would be very important for 2022. When you're packing, we ask that you keep your bag light, limited to 25 pounds. We will have volunteers who move bags to your rooms and to your finish line, and throughout the weekend, volunteers will move over 15,000 bags for riders. 2-day riders, we're going to ask you to bring an extra jersey, a second pair of shorts, and if you're sleeping at MMA, please make sure that you bring a sleeping bag and/or sheets and blanket. We do not provide bedding for Saturday night at Mass Maritime Academy. And then while riding, it's real important that you carry your ID, your medication, and your car keys. We ask you not to pack your car keys, especially if you plan on driving yourself home from the event. Inevitably, every year, as I mentioned, we're going to carry 15,000 bags, and it seems that the one bag we do misplace perhaps each year is one that has the person's car keys in it when they're driving to Virginia that night. So we want to avoid that if we can. Also, rain gear, please have it on you while you're riding, unless we have an absolute 100% bulletproof forecast for no chance of any rain at any time. It's a long day, and if there's a cool rain at some point during the day, riding while soaking wet is not great. All right. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the weekend support and what we do provide for you on PMC weekend. So basically, the PMC, we call them hub sites and water stops, and the hub sites are our start lines and finish lines, and these all are full service facilities with breakfasts and dinners and full food. We also have an expo and a party at the finish lines on Friday evening at both Babson and Sturbridge, and at the finish lines. So we provide that for you. We have water stops roughly every 20 to 25 miles along our traditional routes, which are Saturday from Sturbridge and from Babson to Bourne, and then Sunday on the Cape. On our Sunday routes, which start and finish at Babson College, water stops are every 10 to 15 miles for those shorter rides. All sites are going to have food, drink, medical and mechanical support, along with restrooms. All of our hub sites have showers and changing areas at the finish. Also on the road, we'll have 30 to 40 vehicles to provide medical and mechanical support, as well as transportation to our hub sites or finish lines if necessary. We have a PMC app to use where you can request that support, or you can call 1-800-RECYCLE. We do ask that if it's a medical emergency that you call 911 again for a medical emergency. And then one of the great things about PMC we talked about is it's 100% pass through. So every dollar you raise, we donate to Dana-Farber. And one of the ways we're able to do that is through our sponsors. And you'll see some great food and beverage items, and we really take pride in the way we support you on PMC weekend. And most of what you see during that weekend are items that that have been donated to us. So would ask you to take a look at our website and the handbook when you receive it for the list of this year's sponsors, and support them as much as you can. And then I would also ask if you work for a company that you think might have a product that would help make the PMC even better, please call me or email me, glenn@pmc.org, and we'd love to talk about possibly bringing in an additional sponsor or in-kind sponsor. Up next is Justine, who handles our volunteer operations as well as our Kids Rides programs, and thank you very much.
Hi, like Glenn said, I run our Kids Ride program as well as our volunteer operations. So today I'm just going to talk a little bit about weekend logistics and volunteers. Most of you have probably already have a lot of your weekend logistics already set, but I wanted to go over all of our options, as there are some areas where this information might be beneficial and you might want to change or add your options. So first and foremost is lodging. So Friday lodging is available in Wellesley and Sturbridge area for Saturday riders. These rooms are assigned and booked directly through the PMC. So if you were to call the hotels in that area, they'll just direct you to reach out to us. So you can reach out to us using our general panmass@pmc.org email, and we can help work with you on that. Shuttles are available to and from the hotels. This is specifically for our Sturbridge area hotels. So we can get you to and from the Sturbridge Host Hotel, where all of our activities take place on Friday and Saturday. Saturday lodging, riders, so riders stay, 2-day riders stay at Mass Maritime Academy, so they can stay in the dorms, shared spaces like the gym, or in their own tents. Mass Maritime lodging is currently sold out. Tents are always an option if you want to bring your own tent, but that is something that's already we'll reach capacity for that. If you put in a request to have a roommate or lodging on campus, our volunteer room assignment coordinator, Sue Brogan, will be in touch shortly. She's starting to work through all of those assignments, so don't worry. We'll be in touch about that, and we'll make sure that you get a spot if you request that. So for transportation, we have Friday transportation for riders that are starting from Sturbridge. We have buses that start from Wellesley and in the Seaport in Boston that will help transport your bike and luggage, because Sturbridge can be a little bit far to get out there. So we assist with that. This is something that you do need to purchase a ticket for, but you purchase that through us. We also offer transportation for riders back from Mass Maritime Academy to Wellesley or Sturbridge. This is, again, you would purchase a ticket from this. If you're not taking the bus, you can certainly be picked up by a car. You have family or friends that want to pick you up. Just something to note is that riders cannot be picked up by the finish line on Academy Drive. There's just a lot of riders coming in and out, and we want to make sure that for the safety of our riders that cars aren't going through there. So we do have a parking pickup designated pickup lot that will share more information about that in our handbook, and then an email communication as the event gets closer. Sunday, we do have a few different transportation options. So for our riders finishing in Provincetown, both at the Inn and the Monument finish, you can take buses back to Bourne, Wellesley, or Sturbridge, as well as ferries back to Boston. And if you'd like to take a ferry back to Boston, we also have the bus option as well to take you back to Wellesley and Sturbridge. And we would transport your bike and luggage for you. So our ferry times are a noon, a 2:30, and a 4. Those are our fast ferries. And then we also have a noon, 2, and 4:30. So that's our fast ferry. You would bring your bike actually on with you, and we would transport your luggage for you. And then we have a 3 p.m. slow ferry, and we would transport your bike and luggage for you in trucks. So currently the noon fast ferry and the 3 p.m. slow ferry are the only options left. For all of these transportation, lodging options, things like that, you have the option to select during registration if it's something that you want to change or add. If you go through your PMC dashboard, if you go under your rider registration, you'll be able to update and add any of these options. And then, of course, feel free to reach out to us if you have any further questions about that. And I also run our volunteers. So we have thousands of volunteers that support PMC Riders, PMC Weekend. You'll see many volunteers all throughout, and volunteers positions include general volunteers who work at water stops that help hand out food and water. We have route guides, we have photographers. We do have a lot of medical professionals that are needed throughout the weekend, as well as bike mechanics and more. So if you have any friends, family, or colleagues that want to be involved in the PMC, this is a really great way for them to get involved, as well as be able to see you throughout PMC weekend and cheer you on and support you and Dana-Farber. So volunteer registration is open until June 30th. We don't have on-site volunteer registration, so if you have anyone that's interested, definitely encourage them to register soon so that we can count on them. And we do have volunteer positions open, so please make sure to spread the word. And so next I want to kind of talk about marketing. So when it comes to marketing of the PMC, it revolves all around storytelling and the impact. We tell the story of PMC riders, volunteers, and Dana-Farber on a variety of different platforms. So this can be website, social media, emails, blog posts, videos, podcasts, as well as through our media partners who are WBZ, ROR, Boston Globe, and some other media outlets. We use these stories to increase rider and volunteer registration, as well as get more assets to help riders grow their fundraising. So you'll start to see some of this if you haven't already, whether it be on the media outlets, through us directly, or on our social media. So one big thing is to make sure to update your PMC profile page, which can be found in your PMC dashboard. Make sure that you have a story in there and a profile photo, and then let us know why you're writing. What's your why PMC story? You can send us an email. You'll also get an email asking you for this. We definitely encourage you to fill that out. What we'll do is we'll look at these stories. We'll work with our PR team, communications, and we'll try to develop and get media to, see if this is something that would be newsworthy, as well as just help spread the word about your story and why we have so many dedicated riders that are involved with us in helping our mission. So that's it about marketing, but I also wanted to talk about living proof. So you might have heard this word before. So during PMC weekend, we have over 750 riders and volunteers that we call PMC Living Proof. So PMC Living Proof, it's a designation for riders and volunteers who have or are currently undergoing cancer treatment. We celebrate these riders and volunteers who we deem as a living proof community with a ceremony on Saturday at Mass Maritime Academy and then Sunday at Babson. So if you're a part of the Living Proof community, we'll send you information about these celebrations as PMC weekend gets closer, and we hope that you will join us. It's a really special time, and even if you're not part of the Living Proof community, we definitely encourage you to, watch and cheer on this wonderful community because it's why we're riding and why we're here. So next up is Jessica Otto, PMC Fundraising and Team Captain Coordinator. They'll be talking to you about ways to maximize and start your fundraising. And thanks for riding and supporting PMC. And we'll see you in August.
Thank you so much, Justine. Just as a reminder, don't forget to enter any questions you have in the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen. We'll review these questions at the end of the orientation. As a registered participant, you've probably already logged into your account through the PMC dashboard. The PMC dashboard is the home of all your fundraising resources. You can track your fundraising progress, manage your PMC contact lists, create a Facebook fundraiser, and view your rider or volunteer registration status all through the dashboard. For more information on how to navigate and use the tools in the dashboard, you can view our tutorial video on the website. After you complete registration and are logged into the PMC dashboard, the first thing you'll want to do is set up your PMC profile page. Like Justine said, this is the online page you'll send out to your donors for them to view your story and your fundraising goal. You'll want to tell your donors how you became involved in the PMC, why it's important to you, maybe a funny or impactful moment from a past PMC that has stuck with you over the years. I know I have a few of those. You can add multiple photos to your photo gallery and set a goal for yourself to reach each year. After your profile page is fully set up with your story, photos, and a goal, you can move forward with your fundraising campaign, be that through handwritten letters or with the email templates we offer for you to personalize. In your ask, you'll want to include your story along with the PMC's lifetime donation, the 100% pass through, and the impact it has made on Dana-Farber. You can use our contact management tools and personalize each email to send your ask to your online donor list. Another thing you can use the email templates for is thanking your donors after they make their donation to your fundraising page. We also have PMC note cards in the store for riders that choose to express their gratitude to their donors through a handwritten note instead of using email. Please view our tutorial videos for more information on our email templates and how to import and merge your PMC contact lists. Something else you can set up through your dashboard is a Facebook fundraiser. It's very easy to do, but very important that you set it up directly through the dashboard instead of through Facebook. Setting it up while logged into your account on the PMC dashboard ensures that all donations received will be directed to your PMC account. There is a little bit of a delay in the Facebook donations being recorded on your account. We have to download the reports manually. So if you don't see them right away, that's okay. You'll see them within a day or two, and you can always view the donations directly through your Facebook fundraiser. Facebook fundraising has proven to be a really successful tool. So if you have a Facebook account, I strongly encourage you to set up a Facebook fundraiser. For smartphone users, you can download the PMC app right in the store. It has all of the tools in the dashboard right on your phone. You can use mobile deposit to enter checks you receive and to manage overall fundraising. We are currently working on an update for the PMC app for Android, so we ask the Android users mail their checks to the office for processing for the time being. iPhone users, you're still good to go for mobile deposit. Another impactful way to maximize your fundraising efforts is through our matching gift program. Donors can request a matching gift for their donation through their company. 3 important things to keep in mind about the matching gift program are: number 1, there can be up to a 3-month lag for the PMC to receive the match information and for the match to be credited to your account. Number 2, make sure your donors know to include your rider name or ID in the note field of the match request so we know who to credit the match to. And number 3, have your donors use the same name on the donation as they do on the match request, so we can credit their match to the intended rider. If you choose to direct your fundraising to a specific research fund at Dana-Farber, this must be reconfirmed via email each year to me, and I can make sure that it's added to your account. All of the information that I have spoken about today and even more can be viewed on our fundraising guide. We created this fundraising guide for riders to use whether they are a first-year participant or a 20-year alumni rider. It's packed with really helpful information and can be found on our website and will be included in the follow-up email after this orientation. Up next, we have our CFO, Michelle Summer, here to talk to you about giving trends.
Thanks, Jessica. I'm going to jump into a little deeper into different ways people give. As you begin your fundraising and use the tools that Jessica described, you'll see many donations coming in by credit cards or checks. But we're going to talk about some other ways that your donors can support your rides. Starting off, we'll talk about DAFs. Fueled by tax advantages, charitable giving accounts, otherwise known as donor advised funds or DAFs for short, continue to be by far the fastest growing way people give to charities. Just like people have 401ks for retirement, 529s for college savings, or HSAs for health expenses, more and more people are opening DAF accounts for their charitable giving. With their DAF, they give, grow, and grant. Give meaning contribute cash, stock, or even crypto. Grow meaning the money is invested. And finally, grant meaning donate to a charity. As of 2020, there was more than $160 billion in 1 million DAF accounts. This trend continues to climb, so be sure to let your donors know that they can support your PMC ride with a DAF grant. A few tips to remember about DAFs. Fidelity DAFs can be made right from the PMC website and reach us electronically in 2 to 3 days. For all other DAFs, the donor will initiate the grant from their DAF website, and most of these are sent by check, which reach us in about 2 weeks. Please be sure to remind your donors to include your name and PMC ID in their grant designation notes so that we know where the donation belongs. We see donors giving in other ways as well. If you use Facebook at all, I strongly encourage you to launch an integrated Facebook fundraiser from your PMC dashboard, as Jessica explained. Then your Facebook friends can make their donations right in Facebook. Last year, over $3 million in donations came in via Facebook. Venmo is another very easy way for people to donate with your personal Venmo link, which is on your profile page and on your donation page. Last year, we had over $600,000 raised from Venmo alone. Some other donors give in tax advantage ways, such as stock transfers or IRA distributions. If your donor is over 70 and a half years old, they can make a donation out of their IRA, which will qualify as their RMD, which is their required minimum distribution. So that's a great way that some retired people really like to give to charity. We also have started a legacy society in the PMC because we recognized and were touched by many donors, riders, and volunteers who are including the PMC in their estate plans. They're recognized in our yearbook as members of the Legacy Society. Lastly, I'm excited to share with you that we will soon accept crypto donations. And if you have donors that are interested in doing so, they should contact me directly. If you want to learn about any of these ways to give, please definitely feel free to reach out to me at any time. Next up, Fundraising Coordinator Fiona Hannafin will speak to you about our Pedal Partner program. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. So PMC Pedal Partners are pediatric patients who are currently receiving treatment at Dana-Farber's Jimmy Fund Clinic. Riding in honor of a pedal partner motivates the riders while creating an environment of support for the partners and their whole families. Pedal partners are matched with PMC teams, kids rides, and winter cycle sessions. This photo on the right of the slide here is two of our pedal partners that were honored at Winter Cycle in early April. PMC pedal partners and teams are able to meet up at the Lakeville Water Stop on PMC weekend, where they can enjoy some activities, crafts, and cheer each other on. If your team is interested in being paired with a PMC pedal partner, please feel free to email me at fiona@pmc.org. And now I will turn it back to our president, Jarrett Collins.
Okay, Fiona, thanks so much. I think I'm back. I want to thank everyone for their attention so far. And in a moment, we're going to field any questions that you have. I've seen a couple come in already. So we're going to do our best to answer those. But again, there's a Q&A function in the bottom of your Zoom window you should use. So we're delighted, of course, that you're going to be riding PMC 2022 for me. I've been riding now 14 years, and it's a tremendous experience on PMC weekend or as a reimagined rider. And of course, all the funds that you raise go to Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. But that's not the only thing we do to raise money for Dana-Farber. So every year we have kids rides. In fact, early on in my PMC connectivity, I was a kids ride coordinator, helped, I should say, a kids ride coordinator in Wellesley when we started an event in that location. So kids rides happen every spring and fall in towns throughout Southern New England. They are a great way to get other family members involved, young ones in particular, of course. Kids 3 to 13 basically get out on bikes together. They raise money to fight cancer, and they learn about giving back at an early age, which is obviously a really valuable lesson for a child. So check the PMC website for more information to see if there's a kids ride in your town or in a nearby town, and do get the family involved. The second thing I want to mention is that new for 2022 is something we're calling PMC Unpaved. It's our first off-road ride in the history of the Pan Mass Challenge, and it's going to be held in the Berkshires out in Western Massachusetts. We'll have two routes, a 30 and 50 mile route on the beautiful gravel roads in Western Mass, a great party after the ride at a local camp in Stockbridge, on the Stockbridge Bowl, and you should check it all out at unpaved.org. Registration's now open. So even though the autumn feels like a long time away, it'll be here before we know it. And this is going to be a great new event. We're going to limit it to 500 riders the first year. And then finally, you saw a photo a moment ago from some pedal partners at a Winter Cycle. We're doing Winter Cycle again this coming winter. And again, that really feels like a long way away, but it'll be here before you know it. We don't have registration open there, but in early 2023, we'll be back on stationary bikes at Fenway Park. And the date and other specifics about this event will be posted on pmc.org later this year. And since you all now are receiving our emails, you'll get information about that at that time. Okay, so it's time for some questions. And I will go through what I see here in the Q&A area. I may answer it myself, or I may pass it off to a colleague, but let's take a quick look. Let's see, I'm seeing a question about leaving from and returning by bus to Babson. Can I park my car at Babson for the 2 days during the ride? The answer is yes. And you can park from Friday night through Sunday evening, let's say, at Babson. After that, we need to give the campus back to its primary inhabitants, the students and faculty and staff. So we'd ask that cars are picked up at Babson by Sunday night. So the next question is about whether or not you can change your route and add, in this case, a second day to your route. I think I'll turn to Michelle Summer, if she could give me the deadline for making a route change, and if you're expanding your route and taking on a greater fundraising minimum, what the deadline for that would be.
Sorry, all has to do with when we print credentials. So I think it's really the same as the actual registration deadline, which I believe is June the 30th. Exactly.
Okay. Yep. I'm seeing Glenn nod in agreement as well. So that's always a good thing when we agree. Okay. This is a question probably better handled by Jessica Otto. And the question is whether or not Venmo donations are delayed by a day or two, or do those come through in real time? Any comments there, Jessica?
Hi, yes. So there is a little bit of a delay with Venmo donations. We manually download and import the donations on weekdays. So if you receive a donation on Friday night or later, you might not see it reflect until Monday when we download and import the reports. And if you have any questions about Venmo donations or anything else, please feel free to reach out to myself or Fiona.
Excellent. Thank you. We have a question about whether or not there are buses from Boston to Wellesley on Friday. I'm going to turn to Glenn Hawley for that question. I think I know the answer, but I'd rather hear from the expert.
Sure. So there are no buses on Friday from Boston to Babson. There are buses from Boston to Sturbridge and from Babson to Sturbridge. But to get to Babson you're on your own to get to Babson on Friday.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Here's a question about whether or not hybrid road bikes are okay to ride. It's hard to know exactly what they mean by a hybrid bike, but I would say that road bikes of any type are okay to ride, including, by the way, as you may have seen referenced in Glenn's presentation, e-bikes. And so it's not a race, it's a ride. We really try to emphasize that with all of our communications. But a hybrid road bike, depending on exactly what the setup is, would be perfectly fine to ride. And I just remind people that sometimes hybrid road bikes are a little heavier than a standard road bike, and so they may not have as many gears as a standard road bike, and so it could just take a little bit longer. Here's a question about a training schedule. This is a very appropriate question in terms of timing. So yes, we are actually in the process of working on a partnership with USA Cycling, and they've been kind enough to share with us some of their training schedules. USA Cycling, as you all may know, is really, our national association for bicycling in the United States. Yes, they train athletes for competition and determine Olympic teams and that sort of thing, but they also advocate for safer biking conditions around the US and generally provide helpful information for cyclists. So give us about a week, but we intend to put up training schedules provided for us by USA Cycling. And so we'd encourage you to look for those on our website at that time. And we'll probably send out an email too, by the way, to let people know when those are live to all registered riders. Question about, again, parking related. Can I leave my car at MMA on Friday night if I'm doing the Babson to Bourne ride on Saturday? The answer is yes, we will have parking available in the MMA area. It may be about a mile away from the Bourne finish line at Mass Maritime Academy, but it's actually at a Mass Maritime Academy property. And so we will look forward to providing detailed information about exactly where that parking would be when we send out the handbook, and we'll post it on our website as well. Okay, and the last question that I have so far is whether or not there's a specific bike bag that veteran riders can recommend. I don't know that I have a specific bike bag in mind, and it probably depends on whether or not someone means bag under the saddle, or whether it means something that they could put under the top tube of their bike or even out on the handlebars. There are a number of choices. I think I'd recommend that you stop into a local bike shop. It could be Landry's or one of the other great bike shops that supports the PMC, and just tell them what it is that you'd like to be carrying on your ride. They're going to fit you up with a well-known and reliable brand. So I'm afraid I probably couldn't get much more specific than that without more information, but they can certainly help you. Okay, I am going to take one peek over here in the chat. Okay, so this is a question about a brand new rider wanting to know whether or not they could they could find teams who are looking for riders as well. I might bring Jessica Otto. She's anticipated that I was going to ask her back in to see if she has advice for this individual who would like to be part of a team and isn't now.
Hi, thanks for your question. So to answer it quickly, we don't have a process like this, but I also have been the team captain coordinator for a couple years now. So I'm really familiar with a lot of the teams and which ones, will accept new riders and, which ones are raising funds for different kinds of cancer research. So I would suggest sending me an email at jessica@pmc.org, just where you're from, what you want to ride for. And I can't promise that I can place you with a team, but I can certainly try.
Great. Thank you, Jessica. So a couple more questions, or at least one more question for this evening. Will parking be available in P-Town at the end? And this is presumably someone who is doing either a 2-day ride or just the Sunday ride. The answer is yes, but, and I'm saying it that way because anyone who's tried to park in Provincetown in the summer will know that there's a great shortage of parking, and it has nothing to do with the supply chain crisis. There's just not much land. So what I would suggest is that we will provide information on places that people can do either sort of the equivalent of a cell phone lot. If you've ever been out to Logan Airport and waited in a cell phone lot until your rider's available, we'll try to set something like that up again this year in Provincetown. But I'm afraid we're hemmed in by the same physics that most people trying to park in Provincetown are. And so we don't have, a large dedicated lot available to people picking up riders or parking cars in advance. And we just have to do the best that we can there. So I hope that's helpful, but look for more information in both your rider handbook when you get it, as well as on our website as we get closer to the event. Okay, I am going to call that an evening, and I want to thank everyone for being here with us. I can already get excited about this summer. I hope all of you are getting excited as well. Going back, 14 years for me, I had no idea what to expect. It was 10 times better than I anticipated, and I hope that that's true for all of you this summer as well. If you have additional questions for us, don't hesitate to call or email the office. All that information is right on the front page of our website, pmc.org, and look forward to seeing all of you along the way. So thank you and have a great, great evening. Bye-bye.